So let's talk about weapons. For weapons, you have, as mentioned before, staff, mace, and shield. These are the guild things we run. So I'm just going to quickly leave the arena and get back onto blue team, because I don't want you guys throwing abilities at me, because I can already see it happening. Alright, so let's talk about staff. Specifically, let's talk about literally everything but your 1 key. Staff 1, useless. Functionally useless. It's not going to do much damage at all. It's going to be there to tag enemies. Just overall, it exists to reveal you when you're in stealth. Make sure it's not on autocast, and make sure you're doing things other than 1-1-1-ing. So let's start from skill 5 and work backwards. Skill 5 is the main source of crowd control for Firebrand, outside of like some other things that you have access to. It's a fancy little line. What this line does is it will knock over 10 targets that run over it. It's pretty self-explanatory. You throw it out there. If somebody tries to walk across it, they get tripped up. They're on the ground. If they're on the ground, we can kill them with our damage spike. So anytime you hear a commander call for lines, that is your staff 5 skill, because it's a fancy little line on the ground. There's a couple of different tricks to utilizing your line, but that can be explored personally. This is more of a just a general overview of the class in itself. But yes, this if you're getting pushed, throw down a line. If you see the enemy trying to run away, throw down a line. If you can knock them over, it's a great boon to your team. Next one is Empower. Empower is usually saved for when you're stacked just before engagement. What this is it locks you into a small channel that does 3 pulses. And what this does is it gives might every time it pulses and a small heal with a larger spike heal at the end. Now, you might see this and think to yourself, oh, it's a heal, it's something you use in combat. Not necessarily, because it is a channel skill. It locks you in place, and unless you have perfect positioning while you are channeling away, your squad will leave you, or the enemy will just pull you and kill you. So be very, very careful if you are going for a combat Empower. It can be done, but I don't recommend it. The next ability we have is Swiftness. Not Swiftness. Symbol of Swiftness. What this does, puts a symbol on the ground. A little bit of damage, but its most important thing is that it gives swiftness per pulse. So if you ever need to speed somebody up, if you ever see somebody laggy behind, throw a symbol of swiftness down. Just behind yourself, and they'll probably run through it, maybe catch up back to the tag. Of note, because it's also a light field, what it can be used is a pretty much an impromptu Condi cleanse, in conjunction with the skill we're about to talk about now, which is Holy Strike. Holy Strike is a blast skill. It's the fancy one that comes down from the sky. This is the main thing we use for blasting stealth, but it's also your... Probably, if you're on staff in fights, this is your go-to heal. It doesn't require you to be stuck in place, and it's not great, but it can be used to maybe get somebody out of the shit. My personal recommendation is don't use it just for its heal. Throw down either your light field or blast somebody else's water field. And I mean, if you really want to, you can throw it into the enemy, but it's worthless. Again, we're not here to do damage. We're here to make sure other people do damage. And lastly, Firebrand Staff 1. Pew pew. Pew pew. It does like 300 damage. Do not pew pew. You have better things to be doing other than the pew pew. Maybe if you want to keep somebody in combat, but overall, this skill is just there to look pretty. You will not kill anyone unless they are letting you kill them with this ability. So let's stop pew pewing, and let's switch over to mace and shield. Now, we'll be working backwards again from skill 5 to skill 1. Skill 5 and skill 4 are your shield-based attacks. What skill 5 is it's a light field, makes this fancy little bubble here, and this fancy little bubble has a small channel time, and then it disappears. The bubble will knock people back. If they do not have stab and they're in the stack, when you shield 5, it will send them flying. And if you cast it again before your little timer is up, it will also explode and give everyone a small heal who is inside it. This is also a projectile attack. I mean, not a projectile attack, it's a projectile block. So if you're experiencing a lot of issue with ranges, or somebody's coming up to throw a shield, a siege disabler, shield 5, very good solution. It also helps when you're running away. Just pop shield 5, let it go for the entire channel, and hopefully you'll avoid most of the haze. It's also, just to go over the recast, it's roughly a 1k heal. Might be a little bit lower in World vs. World. Now, onto shield 4. Shield of Judgment. What Shield of Judgment does is, in roughly a 45-degree cone out in front of you, it throws this wave of blue stuff. What this wave of blue stuff does is it's a small damaging effect, but it, most importantly, gives everyone in the... 5 targets in the way of your little wave of blue stuff protection and Aegis. Obviously, both of these things are really good. Protection, minus 33% incoming damage. Aegis blocks the next incoming attack, and with the traits I talked about earlier, heals you, or heals your targets you got Aegis on. Either way, really useful. This should be thrown out on cooldown in fights, especially if you see an incoming bomb. This is a very useful skill and will save people's asses. Now, on to the next one. This is the start of... Yeah. That's actually a very important thing. Just so you're aware, you must recast Shield of Absorption if you want the heal to end it early. Have to. You'll see it should be down just above like your health bar. There'll be like a little yellow line that slowly fills up. You must recast before that line fills up completely to get the healing. Otherwise it doesn't proc. But on to the beginning of the Mace skills. Mace skills, specifically Protective Strike. Protects allies from the next incoming attack against them, and then Lash Out when attacked, granting boons to nearby allies and fully charging the passive burning effect. Last bit, not particularly relevant. The first bit, very relevant. When this goes up, again, gives people protection and Aegis. It's also a block, which means when you're blocking stuff with it, it's charging up your bulwark, which makes your healing better. All around, really good. If you're getting attacked and you don't have anything else you can be doing, Protector Strike. Just a good skill to use. Now, on to Mace Skill 2. Symbol of Faith. Smash the ground, put down a symbol. Gives a little bit of regen, but it's also a light field, so if people are blasting, they will get the Condi Cleanse. I mean, it's a regen, so it can be corrupted, so be aware of that. It's not just a big straight heal like other skills, but it's a fairly substantial amount of regen, so don't feel afraid to use it, especially if you're like holding down a position. And lastly, fucking Guardian Mace 1. The last part of this attack is an AoE heal, but unfortunately it's also a 1-1-1 and it comes out very slowly. If you have literally nothing better to do, hit the enemy with it, but you will very frequently have buttons that are substantially better to press than this skill. You will find that Firebrand is not a 1-1-1 class. It just does not do enough. But that is all of the weapon skills.